Hello, dear fans, friends, and subscribers. Welcome back to your cricket show, Cricket Happenings. I do apologize that I was not able to be on air yesterday due to certain reasons, but I'm here back on a Sunday talking to you on this Cricket Happening show. And today we are going to look at a, a super innings played by King Virat Kohli. And what I mean, India created ODI history when they registered their a massive win over Sri Lanka in the final ODI, where they won by 317 runs, which is a very, very massive win. And I am told that India has created a record in ODI history by getting to the highest margin of wins, highest winning by a huge margin, as you said. Now that is something that has happened when India won against Sri Lanka by 317 runs, and that's a massive margin. In fact, the Sri Lankans, felt the weight of that particular total when they were bowled out for just 73 runs, with Mohammad Siraj ripping through the Sri Lankan batting with some wonderful bowling. As you know, Mohammad Siraj has been really, has been I would say he has been growing by leaps and bounds, as you call it, because he has been able to get the ball swerve away from the batsman. He's able to get the ball to nip back to the batsman, and besides that, he also slips in the wobble seam delivery, which pitches and just comes in. So he has been pretty successful at that, and today he was totally rewarded as he ripped through the Sri Lankan batting, who were under immense pressure with a mountain of a total post by India, which was 390, and it was led by none other than King Kohli, who went on to smash 166 unbeaten runs of only 110 balls, which included 13 fours and 8 sixes. So an absolute classic innings from Virat Kohli, and Virat Kohli has been in some tremendous form, and in doing so, India shattered a lot of records. One, which I said, the highest margin win by India. The second, Virat Kohli making 166, his 46th ODI ton of his career, going past Mahela Jayawardene. Now, let's understand that Virat Kohli is on to a great record. He's just 3 tons shy of going and equaling none other than the maestro of Indian cricket, Sachin Tendulkar, who had 49 centuries. But if you look at it, Kohli has done it probably in 250 odd matches, I reckon, or 300. I wouldn't know that, but Sachin Tendulkar, I believe, took more than 400 matches to do so. So it's a great record, according to me. He has gone past Mahela Jayawardene of Sri Lanka as far as the ODI aggregate is concerned, which is great news. And what a knock from Virat Kohli. I mean, his innings was totally paced around, the way he actually handled the Sri Lankan bowlers. Initially, he started off in a very gingerly fashion, even though the second ball he hit it for 4. But after that, his innings tapered off a bit, from 50 to the 70 range. And after that, he carried on in only the way that he could, because, the amount of runs that he scored and that partnership with Shubman Gill was an absolute beauty. As 95 for 1, and Rohit Sharma had left the crease. So basically, Indians had the proud moment when they won the toss, and Rohit Sharma, in front of a huge crowd at the third one-day international, a day-night encounter. It's a festive season in India. There was a holiday atmosphere, no doubt about it. People were milling at the grounds and at Thiruvananthapuram in Kerala. And on January 15, 2023, the Sri Lankans were defeated by 317 runs. India winning by a huge margin of 317 runs, which, as I said, has set a new record in ODI history. And let's look at the card. Rohit Sharma made 42. He was in his element in his knock of 42 or 49 deliveries. which included 2 4s and 3 6s. Shubman Gill, I mean, after that, there was, I mean, already, 95 runs were added for the first wicket. Now, let's talk about the pitch. This particular pitch, there was not much, I mean, it was easy for batting. Probably the odd one was really getting held up. But other than that, I wouldn't say there was anything in the pitch that could have defeated the batsman. So, looking at the way Sri Lankans fared, to this total of 390 for 5, to me came as a big surprise. Even though probably the mountain of runs, really added, and Mohammad Siraj's bowling was superb on the money. Shubman Gill, what a player he is. I mean, he has got his second ton of his international career. He just has made his ODI debut, probably played a few matches, and now here he comes. He has scored. Definitely, there's a big headache for India. But Shubman Gill, but what an innings from him. He was looking, as you know, Shubman Gill makes batting look pretty easy. And the master at the other end, the pupil at one end, Shubman Gill and Virat Kohli, what a combination it was. It was absolutely a great sight to see. And the way they handled 141 runs partnership, which basically in pretty quick time, one could call that, because in 18 overs, they added 141 runs. That was simply splendid stuff, according to me. And Shubman Gill carried on, second ton of his career. In one particular over, he really went at the bowling. Lairu Kumara, he smoked him for 4 boundaries consecutively. And as I said, Shubman Gill, makes batting look very easy. He's very fluent through the offside. And Virat Kohli, on the other end, as I said, was basically playing a measured innings. But the way he opened out at the end, and as I said, he got his 46th ODI ton of his career, going past Mahela Jayawardene. And, Kohli was looking in pristine touch, as one calls it. And Virat Kohli, at the end of the innings, what an innings. I mean, India ransacked 116 runs of the last 10 overs, and that's the precise reason they started a massive. And out of that 116 runs, 84 runs were coming from Virat Kohli's blade. And Virat Kohli, at the end, on a princely unbeaten 166 of 110 deliveries, 13 fours and 8 sixes. Shreyas Iyer definitely struggled with his batting. He was definitely not in his full form, one could call, but an unconvincing one at that, but still contributed 38 to the tally, 38 of 32, 2 fours, 1 6. Rahul left for just 7 runs, and Surya Kumar Yadav. I was very happy to see Surya Kumar Yadav in the ODI mix of things, but that has been my sort of a call to everybody to get Surya Kumar Yadav. But Surya Kumar Yadav, I think he has failed for the second time now, which is very unfortunate. That was it. Akshar Patel was not out on 2, and India finished on a massive, massive score of 390 for 5. Now, looking at the bowling card of the Sri Lankan bowlers, no bowler was spared. Kasun Rajita, 10 overs, 1 maiden, 81 runs and 2 wickets. Lairu Kumara, with all the pace that he was bowling, he got a bit of a battering as well. 10 overs, 1 maiden, 2 for 87. One into Hasaranga de Silva, 10 overs, none for 54. Jeffrey Van der Sey, the other leg spinner, they included 2 leg spinners today in the mix. 7 overs for 59. He was thrashed for 59. Chamya Karnaratna, 8 overs, no maidens, 1 for 58. Dasun Shanaka, 3 overs, none for 19. And Nuvanidu Fernando was given 2 overs to roll on, and it cost him 22 runs. Now, Sri Lanka, given a target of 391 to go and salvage something in the series. And also, I have to say that India not only had this massive win, but they clean swept Sri Lanka in the ODI series. Now India will be gearing up for New Zealand coming up. Probably on Wednesday we are going to have the first T20, I reckon. We'll come back to that later. But let's look at the Sri Lankan card. The Sri Lankan card looks a sort of a ragged one could call, because the Sri Lankans were bowled out for just 73 runs. The highest scorer being Nuvanidu Fernando, who was out for 19. I mean, I don't blame him, because he was caught in the whirlpool where the Sri Lankans kept losing wickets. Let's have a look at the Sri Lankan card and see how the wickets fell. The worst wicket of Avishka Fernando, after making just one run, nibbled at the delivery. Siraj, as you know, bowling superbly, and Rohit Sharma is absolutely happy with Mohammad Siraj bowling, and why not? He has been very, very consistent in this ODI series against Sri Lanka, and the way, actually, as I said at the outset, that how he moves the ball both ways, and also that wobble seam delivery. This particular delivery was leaving Avishka. Avishka, as I said, nibbled at the delivery, was forced to nibble at the delivery, and it was Mohammad Siraj drawing first blood for India. Avishka Fernando gone, caught Shubman Gill with Mohammad Siraj for one. The next wicket to go, it was the turn of Kushal Mendis to lose his wicket. Now, this was Mohammad Siraj once again bowling superbly. Another outswinger from Mohammad Siraj, but actually fooled Kushal Mendis totally. This was the wobble seam delivery, which he has become an absolute expert now, pitching just outside the off stump and seaming back in such a slight manner. But moving close, and that was the end of Kushal Mendis edging the ball to the wicket keeper, Rahul. And that was the end of Kushal Mendis. Caught Rahul, both Mohammad Siraj for 4, and the score read 22 for 2 in the 4th over. The next to go, Charita Lanka was sent back to the pavilion, but not by Siraj. For a change, it was sent by Mohammad Shami. Probably the pitch was a bit slow, as I said, but again, not a good shot from Charita Lanka. Did not get his timing right on that, and Akshar Patel pouched the catch at point. So gone 31 for 3, 6.3 overs, and this was the time Noah Naidu Fernando, who was definitely defending his wicket. He was not attempting anything silly. He was staying at the wicket, playing some good strokes. That Siraj picked up his 3rd wicket there. Noah Naidu normally he was definitely defending very well, but one more outswinger coming from Siraj this time, and when Fernando probably thought the scoreboard was not moving, the score was 35. He decided to throw his bat at it, and that was the end of Noah Naidu Fernando. He was gone for 19 of 27, 4 boundaries included in that, and that was serious trouble for Sri Lanka. 4 batsmen into the pavilion and only 35 runs on the board. And the overs that were bowled at that particular stage, we were in 7.3 overs. After that, it was then Kuldeep Yadav coming in the mix. And Kuldeep Yadav, I mean, what a delivery. I mean, superb delivery from Kuldeep Yadav. Now, he has been doing that. We know he tossed it up. And it was the Sri Lankan captain who was totally drawn towards that. He wanted to defend the delivery. But if you look at the trajectory of the delivery, the ball was tossed up in the air, but it pitched. And it kept coming, and by the time Dasun Shanaka realized it was all over, it was a rattle of the timber. And that was the end of Dasun Shanaka. Bowled by Kuldeep Yadav for 11, and that was the 7th wicket. But before that, Mohammad Siraj came in and produced a magnificent outswinger. Now, again, that's a wobble seam, as we call it. Pitching outside off, hitting the top of the off stump, and that was the end of. I thought that was a better delivery, but as I said, Kuldeep Yadav produced and dismissed Dasun Shanaka, and they were totally. In the innings was in ambush, and Chamika Karunaratne complicated matters with Mohammad Siraj already totally motivated with this bowling now, getting a run out. I mean, Siraj, it was Siraj actually bowled a Yorker, and that's it. The ball hit the wicket, hitting his anatomy, and that was the end of this guy Chamika Karunaratne, and that was 39 for 6. And as I said, Dasun Shanaka went the score at 50 for 7. The Sri Lankan innings was totally going downhill. Danit Walalage, who came in as a sort of a concussions player, one could call, and the reason that happened is because there was a real clash between 2 of the players. I think it was Jeffrey Vanderson, Ash and Bandara, both absent hurt, and the reason being they clashed, and Virat Kohli was the beneficiary of that particular drop catch when both collided with each other. Dunit Walalage did not last long. He was a victim of Shami for 3. Rajita was not out 13. Laido Kumara lost his stumps to Kuldeep Yadav, and that was a very, very poor picture for Sri Lanka. They were bowled out for 73, and India walking into a massive, massive win over Sri Lanka. And as I said, creating ODI history today. As far as the bowling was concerned, Mohammad Shami, 6 overs, 2 minutes, 220, but the man who took the cake was Mohammad Siraj. 10 overs, 1 maiden, 32 runs and 4 wickets. Kuldeep Yadav really bamboozled the batsman. 5 overs, 1 maiden, 16 runs and 2 wickets. And Shreyas Iyer, 1 over, none for 2. And thus, the India versus Sri Lanka series ended with India totally taking the honours as India won the series against Sri Lanka 3-0. And congratulations to India. They did a wonderful job. Now, India will be bracing themselves for a much tougher assignment as New Zealand enter India. New Zealand will be touring India to play T20s and one-day internationals. And after that, after New Zealand, it will be the turn for Australia to enter India. And New Zealand are definitely coming in lots of confidence. They have beaten Pakistan in the subcontinent. And they are entering India. So it is going to be very interesting series, according to me, between New Zealand and India. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sort of a skim through the other cricket matches. Let's talk about Ireland, Zimbabwe. I just would like to tell you that Zimbabwe have won the series against Ireland. Today was the final match of the series, I reckon. I'm just trying to see. It was a 20-over match. I do apologize. It's a T20 match, and I think it was a third ODI, if I'm not. Yes, third T20. Looking at the way it is, the Ireland were in Zimbabwe, and Ireland have lost 2 matches now. They just won one. The first match was won by Zimbabwe. The second match was won by Ireland. The third match going to Zimbabwe. So Zimbabwe definitely taking the honours there. Ireland, if you look at the card there, in 20 overs, they made 141 for 9. Harry Tector was the prime contributor, 47 of 38, 3 boundaries in that. Curtis Camphor made 27 of 28, 2 boundaries. Dockrell, 23 of 17, 1 boundary, 141 for 9. And it was not so. And as far as the Zimbabwean bowling was concerned, they bowled excellently. I thought 2 for 26 for Tendai Chatara, 1 for 30 Wellington Masakadza, 2 for 28 for Ryan Burl. Jongwei took 2 for 23. Zimbabwe in that particular game, they had a 4-wicket victory. They made 144 for 6 in 19 overs. The highest scorer being the captain himself with 54 of 43, 6 boundaries included, 23 coming from Innocent Kia, the opener of 23 balls with 3 boundaries, 30 coming from Ryan Burl towards the end. He really smashed it in style. He saw to it that Zimbabwe won the match, and he was not out on 30 of 11 deliveries, 3 fours and 2 sixes included in that. And the bowling, 2 for 32 for Barry McCarthy, 2 for 26 for Ben White, 1 for 14 for Harry Tector. Harry Tector really seems to really impress. In this series, what one has seen from Harry Tector, we have seen the other side of Harry Tector. Harry Tector, when we have seen him in the World Cup, he was more as a player, more as a batsman. But as a bowler, I think I'm really surprised to see Harry Tector has played a big role, according to me. And that's good news for Ireland, that Harry Tector is being groomed as a magnificent all-rounder here. 1 for 14 is bowling figures, and he has been pretty impressive at that, to my knowledge. And that was the end of that third T20. Now I take you down to the Pakistan-New Zealand. We are talking about the third ODI where New Zealand won by 2 wickets against Pakistan and took the series. They won the ODI series 2-1, and as far as the score was concerned, the Pakistan were batted first on this particular pitch. They put up a very good score, one could call, 280 for 9, led by none other than the wonderful opener, Fakhar Zaman, who made 101 of 122 deliveries, 10 fours and 1 6. Got tremendous company from Mohammad Rizwan, 77 of 74, 6 boundaries. Sohail was hit on the helmet. Now, that was a real blow, according to me. It was Lockie Ferguson, the bowler. And the ball hit, Haris Sohail. We have seen the cameos played by Haris Sohail in the last T20 World Cup. He was pretty impressive at that, let me tell you that. But it was a real shame to see Haris Sohail walk away after being hit on the helmet by Lockie Ferguson, the express pace bowler from New Zealand. And he never came back. In fact, he was run out for 22 of 25, 1 boundary. Aga Salman Really impressed. 45, 43, 4 fours, 1 6, 280 for 9 was the final tally for New Zealand, for Pakistan. And Saudi 3 for 56, 2 for 63, Lockie Ferguson, one wicket apiece to Michael Bracewell and East Sodhi. New Zealand given a target of 281, even though we can't say that there was one big major contribution. It was all really stitched up by some piecemeal partnerships. Allen 25, Devon Conway 52, Kane Williamson 53, Daryl Mitchell making 31, but Glenn Phillips at the end smashed it out at the end to make sure when there was a bit of a pressure, one thought on New Zealand, probably they might have been probably at one stage one would have thought when Latham was gone at 205 for 6. But it was Glenn Phillips who made sure that New Zealand will walk away with the ODI series against Pakistan 2-1, as Glenn Phillips smashed an unbeaten 63 of 42, 4 fours and 4 sixes. And that was the end of the game. And if you look at the bowling figures there, Hasnain none for 42, Haris Rauf none for 41, Nawaz went for 53, Salman 2 for 42, Usama Mir, the leg spinner, got a real battering. 1 for 61 is bowling figures, and that was the end of the ODI series between New Zealand and Pakistan. New Zealand winning the ODI series by 2 wickets. Glenn Phillips, the man of the match, and the player of the match going to none other than Devon Conway. Well, dear fans and subscribers, hope you all loved this cricket broadcast of mine. With more to come now, probably not on the weekday. As you know, it is back to office, and I will be meeting you all once again on Saturday on this Cricket Happening show. Until then, it's goodbye from here. Thank you.